Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Straight Talk with Grover Thornton. This program is designed to educate, inspire, and to inform you on how government impacts our lives. This show is sponsored by our Black Network and Black Media, and Mr. Julius Hall, President and Chief Executive Officer. Let me say this again. I haven't said it before, but let me just say this. Thanks to Mr. Hall, we have expanded our area into another area. Black Media has a radio station, Hot 2100, that will play beautiful music, all type of music, decent music now. Now, if you think you're going to hear all this filth put down black women and stuff like our women, no. But music of all type that you can enjoy as you move around the city, 2100. Another achievement of Mr. Hall. The man does things to uplift the community. That's what inspires me to even be with him, because I'm used to with people that get things accomplished like we did during the 60s. But it looks like we've gotten so we sit down on our laurels now. We're satisfied, so much complacent. The white community is trying to destroy us every time they get. They're trying to take away the right to vote. They're diluting voting districts. They are trying to take away the books out of the schools. They want the white children to know about Black history. And we have been an excellent part of this development of this nation. We did so many things first. I have a list of a lot of accomplishments that we did as a Black people that we did bring into existence. And you can think about it, if you ride in your car every day and you stop at a red light, the man named Mr. Morgan, I got his first name in my office in the back, but the last name was Morgan. He invented the red light. Now, it didn't look like this light that we have today because, everything produces and be innovated and improved. But he started off with the first a red light. And I think the Western House people, they purchased that. I had two guests tonight that I thought they would have been here. One was both our city council, first council lady Vernetta and council lady Alicia. Alicia was ill last week, and I hope she was doing better. I didn't hear from her today. She was supposed to be here tonight because what I was trying doing, as long as God allowed me to live, first of the year, the first show, I would like for the first or second show anyway, to review what they did the previous year and let us know what has happened and what has been done to improve the conditions of African Americans in our city. Personally, I'll be glad to hear what they have to say. But if I have to measure, I don't think we have been too productive. I would like to know the employment rate. I'd like to know about the crime. Has the crime decreased? What have we done to expand housing? Well, I know one thing. On these roads, I don't know what they did with that money that Biden gave for construction of roads. But I can tell you one thing. You got a place right down Lago Drive. I can call 3 years ago. They haven't done a thing about it. Not a thing. So, and if you get on Montgomery Cross Road, going towards Abercrombie, and about a mile before you reach Abercrombie, on the right-hand side, the whole street is bumpy. Check your car. It's unbelievable. I don't understand why they can't do a survey, put out people to go to this whole city. They got the map to know the whole cities. They know where all the pavement roads are, and to check them and to see which ones are bad and which one need to be repaired. 3 years. I call about that same thing. This is the third year that they never done anything to it. So I really wanted to talk with them and let them let us know. Maybe next month I want to get somebody from the county next month, for both agencies of the government, to let us know what has been done to improve our lives. I don't understand why the Congress wanted to sit down on $15 an hour to give somebody. That's no money. Like Senator Sanders said the other day, it's starvation wages. Starvation wages. When you go to the store, you walk out, don't go to the store if you don't have over $50. If you do, you better get one or two things. And Trump talking about bringing down prices on the other day, talking about, oh, that's going to be a hard job. So he said all those things to get elected. And now Simon, he'll be inaugurated again in about 8 to 9 days. And his whole agenda has been persecution, retribution, and revenge. And you have all those unqualified people running for office. The man who wants to be Secretary of Defense. Now, who's in that job now until Biden leaves next week? General Austin, full-stop black man, full-stop general. And that is the most important job next to the president for the security of the nation, the Secretary of Defense, over the army to make sure everything is uptight with things that they need to make sure that we be able to stand tall and right for our nation. But they want to put this man, Heffen, what his name is, Hess or something like that. He's a drunkard, an alcoholic. He worked at the radio station, and the people seeing him when he go on break and smell him. Every time he get on a break, he go grab the bottle. Now, what? That man. And then you have this man, Patel. He wants to get rid of the FBI. Could you believe that? He wants to get rid of the FBI, and he wants to punish those for Trump, who Trump wants to punish a lot of people, in particular the news media. We got to have the news media. A free press is an independent organization to let people know what's going on. That's why we need a free press. So then you got this lady named Gabby. She is tied into Putin. She was to be head of intelligence. His administration started off terrible. And then there's the man for the Attorney General, that man Gates. He caught so much fire he had to resign because he had sex with a minor. Then the man that was supposed to succeed him, he assaulted a woman and paid her money. So Trump's whole people to run the government, they are like him. The first president of the United States in the history of this country, a convicted felon, a thug, a felon and a thug. He has tarnished the presidency. That's what he has done. He has tarnished the presidency. And we just have to hope and pray and see what's going to happen. Because I'm telling y'all, that 25-20 agenda that they have, I was listening one night to Donald Lawrence, whatever his last name is, talked about the 2025 agenda. He had a copy of it. And he read so many things that were happening, page 9, I never forget. And all of these things that this man wanted to cut. And what I can't understand, and I'm surprised that the Democrats haven't said anything about it, that this Musk man, he's going to be over the budget. Now, this man has, I don't know how many, but he has contracts with the government. Building these, richest man in the world, building these motor, electric cars and all that. That's what his thinking is. But he has contracts with the government. It seemed to me that would be a conflict of interest because he's certainly not going to cut that affects his budget. Deal with his contracts that he have with the government. So I don't understand why the Democrats not saying anything about it. I did not say anything about it. I don't understand it. But we just have to wait and see. But I can tell you, we got some rough days ahead in this country with the Republican Party. Every accomplishment that you've ever had, and particularly black people, has come from the Democrats. Now, it's true that Lincoln freed the slave and all, but in Black history, I don't want to get into that the next month when I was telling you things, how 3 things really destroyed us. And the last thing destroyed us for over 80 years before 1954. So I didn't want to get ahead of myself with Black history, but that will be coming around next month. But I do want to as I'm going to reiterate this, the first of every year when I have my show, I want to bring in somebody from each government to tell us their achievements, how things that benefit black people, and that's what we need. Now, I want to talk a minute or so about what Trump wants to do dealing with foreign relations. And that is about the Panama Canal. When he started the Panama Canal, I went around the library and I put out an old history book, the history of the United States and even modern history. He even had about the Civil Rights Movement and everything in it. And I read about the Panama Canal. I already heard about it, but I really never got into it. After Trump said he wants to take the Panama Canal, he wants to take Greenland. I haven't found out too much thing about Greenland other than it's a country with a lot of minerals. But I'm trying to find out the negotiation part that America had to deal with, like in the Panama Canal, which I'm going to tell you about. The Panama Canal came into existence in the 1800s under President Theodore Roosevelt. It was very difficult to get to the Pacific Ocean. They had to go to the Pacific Ocean. They had to go around the bottom, highest tip around South America. And that took, I think it was 60-something days to do that by ship. So they got to thinking about it and what we can do to tie into the Pacific Ocean. We got the Atlantic Ocean, but the Pacific Ocean is a problem. Some engineers thought that they could go over Nicaragua. That might have been a shortcut. So when I computed from the time that they went to 60-something days, and with the canal hooking to the Pacific from the Atlantic, it would take 22 days. And when I was in the military, I never saw much water in all my life because I was on a ship going to Germany and was on a ship for 12 days of the Atlantic Ocean. 12 days. So it would take 22 days compared to 60-something days. That's a tremendous reduction. And that came in exactly, wonderfully, for America when we was in World War II with Japan, because Japan is around the Pacific. Now, here's the agreement. The England started with it, they couldn't do it. France started to try to dig it's a vast piece of land that the Panama government allowed these people to do with negotiation with contractors, etc. But anyway, France didn't have the know-how, didn't have the funds and all that, so they encouraged the American government to look into doing it. So President Theodore Roosevelt paid France all the money that they had invested, paid them for the equipment that they purchased, and he ordered the United States Army engineers to tackle this monstrous project. It was a monstrous project. Many people lost their lives. They had to go through swamps. They had to cut through all kind of rocks and hills and all that to get to the Pacific. And it took 10 years. 10 years it took to construct that waterway that you can leave the Atlantic Ocean and move directly into the Pacific. They have what they call locks, and they get filled with water when the ships come in. The ships get into these locks and get filled with water, and it's like a rail. It moves the ships right on into the Pacific Ocean. That was a great adventure. Now, it does not belong to America. You know, when you think about what Adolf Hitler did in Germany, he took Poland, he took Czechoslovakia, he took Denmark, he took Holland, and he took Belgium. The Nazi army was so powerful when they started marching, everybody gave up. So Trump wants to do that. He can't take those people. The man said the Panama is not for sale. He can't just take those people in. And I don't know, I've never seen a copy of the negotiation, never seen a copy of the contract, but it had to be so that in a certain amount of years, we had to surrender it back to the Panama government. So President Carter in 1976 he gave the Panama Canal back to the Panama people. It didn't belong to us. Now, if we went there and we had the know-how, we had the money and the equipment and all of that, well, it benefited us. It benefited us to do what it did. It benefited America, especially when World War II. I just saw you to go from you had to go to the tip of South America all around it to get to the Pacific. Now that's a waterway and moves right into the Pacific. So it really benefited America. Now Trump wants to take that. And like I said, I have not read too much what America did with Greenland. I got to look at that. But I do know one thing. Greenland is loaded with minerals, that this government can use. That's what a dictator does. Go in and take things that does not belong to him. And President Carter did the right thing. He honored the contract. We spend so many millions of dollars a year to rent that waterway, the canal, but it does not belong to us. So that's the story on the canal. Now he would think he can do that by force, take people's stuff. He can't do that. He wants to be a dictator like Putin took Ukraine, just arbitrarily go in and take people's stuff like that. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. So I just thought I would tell you about the Panama Canal. That's the basis of it. That it belongs to those people, and those people have a right, and they have a direct right to maintain it. American engineers didn't do the work. And a lot of people lost their lives. Hundreds of people lost their lives, and diseases and cutting through swamps and stuff like that. And a lot of people died from yellow fever. And there was a doctor in Cuba was very, very good at that type of a situation, working with that type of fever. So the U.S. government employed him. And he came and worked and worked and worked and was able to conquer that yellow fever where the men could continue to work. A lot of men lost their lives, not only from the fever, but drilling through mountains and swamps. For 10 years it took to build that waterway. And it's worth it to the American government. So I don't see how Trump think he just arbitrarily go in there and take something away from people that does not belong to him. Now, in about 7 or 8 days, he'll be inaugurated as a president, the worst president in the history of this nation. And I read something about all of them, but I never read anything where nobody was a criminal. This man is a criminal, a convicted felon. And that lady down in Florida, she'll be ashamed of herself. She rules everything in his favor. I think they have files with appeals. They've overruled her twice. And I guarantee you, when Thomas, either Alito leaves the Supreme Court, she will be appointed to the Supreme Court. Mark my word. She's done everything supporting him, even stealing the classified information. She threw that out. Classified information, the secrets of the country, to protect the country from invaders and all of that. He took all that out of the White House. He shouldn't have done. He's supposed to turn that over to the archives, the presidential archives. And he took those things and showed them to people. Man, I don't know. That's an evil man. So whatever her name, I forget it now, but she looks out for him. And came along with Supreme Court with that immunity. He can do certain amount of things, and as long as he doesn't cross the line, he can't go there and kill somebody and they will let him off. But he can do a lot of things with that immunity. He tried that defense against this judge who sentenced him last Friday. That man was terrible. He ridiculed the judges. He ridiculed the jurors. He ridiculed the prosecutors. He was misbehaving in court, and the man had to cite him for contempt, and he will put him out if he didn't stop interrupting. He's a terrible person. He's the epitome of the devil, is what that man is. The epitome of the devil. And he wants to be president. He's already won. And all these people who voted for him, it's going to affect them also, whatever affect any poor black person or people of color. It's going to affect you too, you white people who went there and voted for him. You have daughters might get raped, they can't have no abortions. What are you going to do then? And I don't have no sympathy for anybody at all. If something happened to you, I laugh at it because you didn't have to put that evil man in office. You would rather have an evil man than that woman. I knew Miss Harris was not going to be able to win. She didn't want no black woman. They didn't want Miss Clinton. She was a white woman. They didn't want her. They chopped up all the charges against somebody, regardless stuff that she didn't have good protection, and a lot of the councilmen and stuff lost their lives, and because the enemy jumped in and murdered them, and they put it all on her, and she took the server and sent messages to her daughter and all that. They got all that stuff to ruin Miss Clinton, but with that, Miss Clinton had more popular votes, and that's another thing. I don't know whether we'll ever change that, and that is the Electoral College. I try to talk to these people, so when they had these things, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by Electoral College? What is the purpose of it? And when the people finally put the Constitution, they decided the biggest problem was the small states kept saying that the big states would take advantage of them. But at this moment, I'll be right with this information. We'll take a little quick break. Be right back.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
All right, I'm right back again to finish up on this particular subject. As I didn't have my guests, I thought I would still do this show with some education and people could understand how government functions. That's one of the main things that I say when I come on the show. Now, when you look at the biggest problem, ladies and gentlemen, was the small states like Vermont and other small states, they thought they would be taken advantage of by the big states. So they finally come to a conclusion. We came to one, said, let's come to a conclusion and solve this problem. So they decided that each state would have 2 senators. Each state would have 2 senators. But you would have as many persons in the House of Representatives as you have people representing certain districts. I think Georgia has 15 electoral votes. 15 electoral votes Georgia has. And because we got all these districts, like we live in the 1st Congressional District, you have 2nd Congressional District, et cetera. And then you have as many people in the Congress as you have electoral votes. I know we got 15. Some states got, California got so large amount and all that. If anybody really don't know how many these states have, I have it. And now what Trump now wants to do, now he wants to interfere with the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution were directly benefit slavers who just got emancipated in 1863. And in 1868, the 13th Amendment came in 65 when Lincoln freed the slaves. In 1868, that's when we had the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. It said all persons born in the United States are therefore citizens of the states in which they reside, and Congress shall make no law abridging these things. But what Trump wants to do now, he's trying to keep people out of the country. They're not going to vote for that because first place, it's a 3-4. You got some Republicans behind him with it. You know, you got some people follow the man on anything that he does. They will follow him. But the 14th Amendment to the Constitution has all persons born are naturalized, and only a person born in America could be president. And nobody else could come from another country and be president. But to show you how some white people were back then during the 80s, when Schwarzenegger was governor of California, and you know he was a bodybuilding man and all that kind of stuff. He made movies and all that. But I'm not going to criticize him because of his daddy. But what I read, his daddy was a terrible man. He was a SS officer under Adolf Hitler, and the SS officers were the ones that protect Hitler. But anyhow, he did so much great job, and show you how some white people do. He did so much great job as governor of California. They wanted him to run for president of the United States, and the Constitution said nothing but a natural-born citizen. You got to be born in this country. You can understand that. If you make an English guy president, he's not going to have full loyalty to America. He's going to have it to his country where he was born. So I give the farmers, the framers, a lot of credit on a lot of things when I read that Constitution. I haven't read all of it, but I read a lot of it from time to time. My articles disregarded for that. But that's what Trump wants to do. Take out that part in the Constitution and say all persons are born as naturalized citizens. So he's trying to do that with the immigration problem. Ain't nobody going to prove that. Because first place, it takes 3/4 of the states to even amend the Constitution. Sometimes it takes years for amendment to come through into fruition. That's what it does. So they wanted to make Schwarzenegger the Republican candidate for president. They didn't care nothing about what the Constitution says about that amendment. A person must be born in this country to be president of the United States. Sure how some people try to change anything to suit them, but they couldn't do it. They could not do it, and they attempted to do it. So we have all these factors affecting us as a people. And the presidency has, when they designed this country, they wanted everybody to share in the power. The executives, which is the president, the Senate, and the Congress. All of them. Now, the only thing they cannot do is they cannot eradicate the United States Supreme Court. But Trump put all those strict conservatives on the court that went along with his agenda. But that lady fooled him the other day. And he thought that the court was going to uphold and let him appeal that thing that happened the other day, the conviction that he had, the 34 convictions, but he had to be tried. And that lady, Ms. Barrett, she voted against him. I was glad to see that because I sat there and watched her on the TV and she lied. And here's her words. She said, if anybody thinking I'm coming on this court to overturn Roe versus Wade, they're wrong. And she went right there because they promised Trump. And then in line Kavanaugh, what did he say? Here's his words, sitting there looking right at him. He said, well, they asked him the question, well, Mr. Kavanaugh, what you thinking about the Roe versus Wade? Well, Senator, that's already settled law. Turned right there and voted against it. If it was settled, then why did he interfere with it? People lie. I was reading a little cartoon the other day about when Trump first ran president. He said he want to drain the swamp, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. And the little cartoon said, well, the swamp has been drained, but it was replaced with millionaires and billionaires. Trump friends. He promised all these men and gave them all that money a big tax break. How sad. And didn't want to give people a decent wage. And if it had not been, ladies and gentlemen, you go back in the 1800s, if it had not been a man by the name of Summers, I think that's the name, who started unions, they had children working in sweatshops. They had people working all hours, all doing nothing, just taking advantage. But when we finally got unions, That's made a difference in this country. They were gonna work you for nothing. Like I got a book called Southern Strategies. I think Strategy Southern, and I found this book in old Salvation Army years and years ago, and there were issues in the South, and one of them was when you look at you get your light bill. I was shocked when I was reading them through the book. It's all right. Got it all taped up, 1946. So you see how long that has been. But the information is still in there. It can be old and ragged, but the information is in it. And one guy said, chattel slavery may be gone, but long live wage slavery. And that's what's been happening to the poor people in the country. They don't want people to make so much money. $15 a month an hour is no money. And some people make more than that, but I'm talking about as far as the law. They cannot pay you under $7.50 an hour. Some people make 20, 30, but how many people would do that though? That's all the way across the board. There's certain jobs, certain people, certain things like that. But it's not law. So when it's not law, the man cannot, he can't hire you under $7.50 an hour. That's the law. But it should be more than at least $15 an hour, which is still starvation wages as far as I'm concerned. But that's the way it is. They work you and don't want to pay you a lot of money. So these are the things that we got to work forward to and look forward to. It's going to be rough. There'll be some tough, difficult days when that man get in there. It's going to be awful. He's not thinking about elevating people's standard of living. He's thinking about retribution, as I first stated. And these are the things that we got to look out for. This country has to exist with everybody. I can't believe when I see this man on the TV asking people to send money into this organization to feed Americans' children. I just can't believe that. Feed Americans' children. He's asking for money. And this is the richest country in the world. Nobody won't be hungry in America. The richest country in the world, and he's on the TV asking for money to feed America's children. You'll see it on the TV. You see it. I can see that if you ask for money, like Sudan and all that, the poor people, children. I give money every month to feed the children. I give money every month to UNICEF. There's money going from the United States over the world for children. I give $25 every month. God said for the last over 2 years. I ain't bragging on it. The Lord bless me for it. To feed senior citizens. I know the lady who runs a program, Ms. Davis. It's Patty Davis, I think her last name is. Anyway, when I called about a year or so and told her I'll give her $25 a month, she sends me a letter. I told her, please don't send me no letter. Don't do that. I'll just take the money out of my American Express. Don't send me no letter thanking me. But she told me a story of an old black lady. She had no food, and she would boil onions and eat a lot of onions, boiled onions. And you know onions make things smell real good. And people passed by her house, they thought she came out there, she really cooked it. So somebody told her about the senior citizen program. This is what Miss Patty was telling me, the white lady told me. And somebody helped her compose a letter. And she asked, could she buy a little food? Because she didn't have any. And she had an old, Miss Patty said, an old $5 bill. That's real old. And she included that in the envelope, the $5 bill. And they had someone to contact that lady immediately and give her $5 bill back and put her on the wheel, food on wheels. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And how people can be billionaires or millionaires and see these poor children like they look, walking, all of that, like that mercy ship. And it doesn't hinder them at all. to not do. They won't do. So, but the Bible speaks to those who help the poor. It says a blessed man will be blessed, a generous man will be blessed, because he shares his substance with the poor. In the book of Proverbs. And another one says, who is kind to the elderly lends to the Lord, and the Lord will repay him. See, in many ways you get repaid, ladies. Everything ain't money. I'm not bragging about that. I wish I could give more. I give over $200 a month every year for the last 2 years. I'm 91 years old. A lot of blessings. They got to be money. The Lord has blessed me with a long life so far. I know I got to die. Every man born of a woman in a few days they have many trouble. Every man. I know my day coming. My day's coming. And speaking on two men that died that were very good to the nation, and I got to speak about one man personally, one of our late Alderman, Mr. Clifton Jones. I didn't ever know him, and I got to know him. I think one day I called, the council had passed something, and I didn't quite understand it. And I called Mr. Jones. And from that day on, he and I would always converse on something. I said, well, I'm calling you today, Mr. Jones. I said, I don't understand what they're doing with this. Explain this to me, this and another. And there were times that we would stay on the phone for over an hour. He was a fine, decent gentleman, a man of character, distinguished man, a knowledgeable man. And I'm going to miss him. Sometimes we talked over an hour on the phone, solving problems, and he would explain to me. I said, well, I got a better view of it now, so I kind of go along with it. I didn't quite understand this, and I appreciate you explaining it to me. Good man, fine man, a lovely wife. I think she worked with the election board. People give it a time to the community. And he was a wonderful gentleman, wonderful man, decent man, character. Like the Bible says, not my words, in the book. A good name is rather be good to be chosen than all the riches. A good name. And that's what Mr. Jones had. And he had two lovely daughters that they look after him so wonderful. That's what I loved about that. I told my sons and my daughter, I said, when I get down there, y'all got to take care of me like they did Mr. Jones. Because I gave my whole life to y'all. Now, it's your time now to look after me. So I just want to mention he's going on to rest. You know, God give him a blessed day when the Savior comes. Fine man, a fine man of character, good legislator for city council, fine, intelligent, decent man. I just had to say that about Mr. Jones. And the second I want to say about the late President Jimmy Carter. I never did get a chance to meet him. I didn't feel too good today to look it up in my memorabilia. I got a tub loaded with nothing, but that's just my hobby. Things that happen in the world. I got with Kennedy was assassinated. I got maybe years and years I can read them. I got the old Tribune when Jimmy Carter came to Savannah to speak, and I was there. I was so cried. I didn't go to try to meet him. I'll be honest with you. I got out of the place. But you could see me in there, and I put a little asterisk by my face that I was there when he came at the request of Bobby Hill, because Bobby Hill was working in his campaign. Bobby Hill was working in his campaign. And he spoke at the Union Hall, Longshoreman Union Hall. But what? This is 25, 7 for 9. That's about 40, 59 years ago. 49 years ago at least. And I still got that paper. And he was a fine man. And I gave money to his center. And he sent me a letter. I would just keep it. But he was a fine man. He lost that election. And I'm going to tell you all the truth how the man lost the election. They don't want to say it. I don't know why they don't tell American people the truth. And Reagan did beat the man. But what happened, they had already had, the Iran had these hostages. About 18 of them, I believe. And they were just parading them everywhere they could parade them, moving them from one place to the other. But the CIA somehow got in there. You know, money talks. And got a lot of people that were working with the CIA who were of that race of people. But they wanted that money. They told them where the hostages were, and they were on the way to get the hostages. And guess what happened? It was a general right here at Hunter Field named General Vaught. He was over that operation. When I was at Savannah Tech, I never meet him, but I saw him come over there and talk to the president. Because we were trying to use something from the base. But anyway, he was in charge of that operation. And for somehow, I don't understand how that could happen. They knew that they were going into the desert. And about 3 or 4 helicopters. One of the part of the plans was to, I don't know where they were, the helicopters, but they were to stop the traffic on this highway, and they stopped all the buses, and the people thought they were going to hurt them and all that. They said, no, we're not going to harm you. We're just stopping the traffic. And all the helicopters, ladies and gentlemen, with all those propellers going around up in the air, sucked up nothing but desert, sand, all in. Oh man, it was terrible. One helicopter fell to the ground. One or two of them bumped into each other. They did not have the dustpans on the bottom of the helicopters. I can believe that. Going into a desert area with no dustpan, what they call them, on the bottom of the engine. And all the sand just went up, blew all up in the engine. He could have gotten those hostages out, and he would have won that election. Because I went on for year after year. Over a year. Where they had these hostages. Moved from one place to another. But the CIA paid money. And if they had rescue, I'm going to take a little break for a moment. Be right back. How's it doing?
Good, very informative.
Huh?
Join us for an unforgettable Caribbean cruise.
All right, I'm back again here now. Talk about a few more things. I have about 15 more minutes. I'm sorry, as I said, that my guest did not show. I know Miss Blakely was there for a while. Maybe she didn't get completely well enough to come, but I could understand that. But anyway, I was taking the time to enlighten you on things that we had to deal with as Black people. And many of you were not around during the 60s, so you don't know what it is to get on a bus. I know, let me just say about the experience that I did. When I was going to Savannah State College, I lived on 34th Street, poor neighborhood where my mother was so proud. Out of 8 children, out of 7 children, 4 of us got college degrees. 3 with college degrees and 1 with 3-year college. We had nothing, not a dime. We didn't have no student loan at that time. Had to hustle and work to get that money to buy the books. So I had to go to East 4th Street School to meet with Mrs. Gadsden. Judge Gadsden's wife was a coordinator for students on the field, we call it. And she would come and say, how you doing on your practice work? And we had to observe a bunch of children in kindergarten or whatever it was. So I walked all the way down to Anderson, West 4th Street, and I got on the Broad Local. But the Broad Local, I don't know whether they still got that bus running now. I imagine they still have, I don't know. But it goes, start right at Martin Luther King and Answer, West Broad, and it goes all the way down East Broad Street, turn left on East Broad to Broughton, turn right on Broad, right back to West Broad Street, round and round and round. That was the route. So I worked at that Savannah Hotel one night with serving liquor to the people, and I was tired, and I had to be to that school at 9:30. So I got dressed, got on suit and tie, being presentable, and I got down to Answer and West Broad. As soon as the Broad Local came in, stopped. I got on, and nobody was on the bus for 3 black women way back there in the back. And I didn't have no motive to sit down. I just sat. I didn't sit on long seat behind the bus driver. I sat on that first seat by the long seat. And that's why he said, hey, you got to get up and go to the back. I said, what I got to go to the back for? Man, drive this bus. I got to be somewhere at 9:30. I said, look, no white folk on this bus. I'm not sitting by none of them. Not that they know better than I am. Okay, let's get that straight. That's what I told that white man. And so I heard some of them. I think about it sometimes, Jesus. They won't say, that boy got this bus hole up here, and I'm going to be late on my job. I got up and apologized to them for it. I told them this. I said, ladies, I'm sorry that I'm doing this. I said, well, what? I said, I'm sitting down on the seat. I paid my fare. So why I got to go back there in the back there? Y'all sitting way back. Y'all didn't have to go way back there, but I just sat out in the seat. I said, let me tell y'all this here. The man got off the bus. I said, well, the telephone was on the street at that time. Y'all just told the telephones off the wall, and they had the little cubic thing they see on the phone, and telephone book just tore up everything. But they don't have them like that no more. It's years ago. So he got off the bus, was crossing the street, going over to the phone. And I said, look, now the man probably going to call the policeman to take me, put me to jail. Now, when the police come, I don't mind going to jail. I'm going to ask one of your 3 ladies to do one thing for me. Call the NAACP office and ask for Mr. Law, or give Mr. Law, W. Law, all y'all know him. Give him the message that, I said, if you can't think of my name, Grover, think of the dog Rover. And then to put the G where the R is. That he's been arrested because he would not move off a seat on the bus. So I sat waiting on the police. And I happened to look out the window, and I saw this brand new sharp Bonneville Pontiac swung right in front of the bus and stopped. And that was how many years ago? Maybe over 50 years ago. And I remember that man's name. His name was, I did not remember the first name, but the last name was Carmichael. He got out of that car and he came to the bus. He stepped into the bus and he said, well, what's going on? I said, I'll tell you what's going on. First thing, I'm supposed to be at a place observing some children with Dr. Gasson at 9 o'clock and head to 9:35, and I'm still sitting here. This man wouldn't drive the bus because I sat here on his seat. I said, I paid my fare. Well, I told him. I said, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous anyway. You ought to be able to sit where you want to sit. And if I'm lying, Christ didn't go to the cross. And I know he did because I'm a sinner. That man took me, said, come up with me, Mr. Thornton. I got in his Bonneville. He backed up, cut around another car, shooting right on down Allison to East Broad Street, made that left, took me right to East Broad Street School. And on the way, he said, I'm telling you the truth. I'm getting sick of this. Those so-and-so signs got to come down. And I said, that's going to be a blessing. I said, because they had no business going there in the first place. And he took me right to East Broad Street School, and he told me to have a nice day. We cannot get anywhere if you are scared. We have people just afraid of white people. They're just like you. A man is made in the image of Almighty God just like me. No better than me. I don't buck it out of none of them. I got a good friend of mine, my fraternity brother. He tell you right now, we go to a restaurant, and if I don't see nobody black in there, I send for the manager. I said, all these black people in here, and you don't have nobody working black. If you don't even know his name, I give you. You call me, I give you his name. He'll tell you that's the truth. I hate racism. I hate segregation. I fought it all my life. And I'm 91 years old now. But I want the generation to be better. That's why our young boys and young men got to do something about themselves. Straighten up and fly right. Leave these drugs alone. Our black girls cannot find decent men to even marry. The man on TV, like 87% of the incarceration are African Americans. Get yourself out and get a job. The Bible says if a man don't work, he shall leave and eat. Or breaking somebody's house. Rob. Get yourself a job. Don't let the devil get a hold of you. We got a lot to do to maintain our race. The generations got to be better. This, as I say it again if I say that. Our girls cannot find decent men to even marry. That's why I don't want anyone to get married, decent. There came very few men. They're men sorry, don't want to work. Want the woman to take care of them. And some of the women, just as foolish as they can be, they want a sorry man. Can you believe that? We cannot make our race better until all of us get together and raise our children. They don't even go to Sunday school anymore. Most churches don't even have Sunday school. I took my children to Sunday school every day God sent. Raise them in the church. The Bible tells you about that. Bring up a child where you have it to go. And we get old, we will not depart from it. I'm no minister, but I read the word of God. I ain't no perfect person. That's why I need Jesus. If I was perfect, I would need him. And if the word was perfect, God would not have sent him. But we have an obligation. God's going to hold you responsible for your children till they get a certain age. But we got to raise our boys and be men. Leave these drugs alone. They have not caused anything but death, misery, and jail time. So I just thought I'd throw a little bit out. Some other time I just had to lecture a little bit tonight, and I'll be next month with Black History. And I hope they have a nice program on history. And tell you some of the things that which we came a long way from. God brought the black race from a mighty long way. But ladies and gentlemen, I only have about 5 more minutes to go. And again, I'd like to apologize for not having my 2 guests here. I'll get them here sooner or later. But I do miss Blakely was ill. So she had a setback. I hope she would do much better. Because she was going to bring Miss Council Lady Vernetta. So thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for listening to the show. And I only have about 3 or 4 more minutes to go, but I do thank you for listening. I try to inform my black people in my race. And I was reading the other day how grandparents and parents got to take our children to the libraries. They got to learn about our people. Because they're taking the books out of the library. They don't want the white children to know how they treated black people. That's the main thing. I remember looking at TV one day, and 2 white girls were drinking out the fountain, a white fountain, all the water coming through the same pipe. Isn't that ignorant? How ignorant can you be? Water coming out the same pipe, black. So the girl went over, and the white girl, 2 white girls, and one of them went over and drank out the one said colored. And so her friends say, well, you drank out the one say colored. She said, well, I just drank out the one say white. And both of them taste the same to me. Ignorance. That's what it is. Ignorance. I read the scripture the other night. Some people say, oh, God don't kill nobody. Yes, God will kill you too. God was so disgusted. You think I'm lying? Look at the book of Numbers. Next week, I give you the chapter. I just have to think about it, so I kill these 5 minutes. And God will kill you too. He'll take his hand off you. And he was so angry with the children of Israel. The first thing he done, stay in the wilderness for 40 years. All that marvelous things he did to show them when he brought them out of Egypt. Opened the Red Sea, walked on dry ground. Ramsey, give him all the stuff to deal with. Frogs, mosquitoes, flies, everything. The ocean turned to blood. And he still will not yield. And so what happened? When they did not listen to him in the wilderness, he caused a lot of fiery snakes to kill a lot of them, even children. God goes so long and so much, and he get tired. Now, they don't know who started the fire that burning down California over there. I'm telling you, y'all don't know. We're in the last days, I can tell you that. You said the other day, I said, well, how does fire start? We don't know. We can't tell. And I said, I just wonder was the place, what place we didn't let the African Americans live. I don't know whether the African Americans are living there or not. I don't know. But one of the prophets said, you can sow the wind, but you're weak the whirlwind. So that's going to be all for me tonight. And I appreciate you listening. I apologize again for the two council ladies who were not able to come. But there'll be another time because I'm determined to find out. And how can you find out? From people who represent us. So I want to say I appreciate you listening. And I do hope I was able to impart something that you did not know. So God bless you. And I hope the best for your family as we move towards another year. But I'm telling you in advance, it's going to be a terrible year, and it's going to be a lot of crises. We already started off the year with this burning down half of the city, the buildings. Over 180,000 people had to evacuate. Over 180,000 people. Buildings burned down, schools burned down. You all know when God gets angry, he does not play. So anyway, y'all have a beautiful tomorrow. Thank you for listening to me. And I will still try to inform you on things that will uplift my people. God bless you. Good night.
Like that.